Hello and welcome to the Paladins patch preview for Open Beta 55. My name is James Horgan, but you can call me Hi-Res Kret, and I am joined by the best and brightest of Hi-Res Studios. New on the show, Charles Pang, one of our designers. Garrett Martini, you probably know him. And Thomas Holt, our art director.
Hello.
What's up, guys?
So we've got a whole bunch planned for y'all today. I can't wait to get into it. This is going to be a big patch.
It's a big patch.
We've
Massive.
got some skins.
Oh, yeah.
We've got some skins you might not expect.
And some that they've been waiting for quite a while.
Quite a while, so I've heard. And maybe at the end we even got a champion, but only if you're good.
What about maps?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Haven't done
we got
that in a
maps.
while.
And
Yeah,
map trees.
what if
I
we
think we
just
got a little
released
bit
a-
of everything.
What if we just released a map this patch? Could we do that, Thomas?
Let's see. That gives us 4 days. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
All right.
PTS today.
You're getting map 2.
Okay.
It'll be on PTS
All right.
today, a little bit later, but let's get started.
Let's.
And, I want to start with mastery skins, right? I love mastering those champions. I love getting them up there. And I've been waiting for quite a while for a few of these champions, especially Torvald.
Yeah, so we've been asked for a long time for a skin for Torvald. And so we got together, we thought about it, and I think the best way to do that, to reward those Torvald players, is to give him a mastery skin. And this is the best patch to do that in.
And we got some hardcore Torvald players, so if you're up there, you can get that cosmic skin.
Yep.
Blue looks really cool. Kind of out there. I think this one is a little bit more like cosmic than the others. Some of them look a little bit more terrestrial, but this guy, I mean, it's pretty fancy.
Yeah, he's got that beautiful emote from the animation team. It's really nice. Kind of plays into that personality just perfectly.
I haven't seen that. That's awesome.
So, yeah, now that he has a skin, they can stop asking for Torvald skins. So
Yeah,
I think
we're done.
we're good to go.
No
Yeah.
more Torvald skins for
I
a
think
while.
that's all you get.
Yeah,
that's
that
fair.
makes
That's
sense.
fair. So.
He'll also obviously have the obsidian for the slightly lower mastery, or if you just like the theme a little bit better. And then we've also got Ying for you guys this patch. So if you're a hardcore Ying player, you'll be rewarded there with the nice cosmic Ying.
She looks good. Beautiful.
And this is right the difference between the two. Like Torvald he looks sort of a little bit more like consumed by the cosmic power, whereas Ying feels like she's kind of right at home. Like this is a good look for her, you know?
Amplifying
It
It
is.
just fits.
Beacon, yeah.
It is. When we were actually exploring the look for the mastery skin, she's actually one of the first champions that we had started work on. And
right.
it just fits her very, very well. So, and as mentioned, she has her emote, she has her MVP, she has her spray. So for both of these champions, if you've played them, those rewards will be there for you.
I mean, I can't wait to get in game, play some of those, especially Torvald.
Yeah.
I love playing as Torvald and just bullying people all over the map. So, really excited. Been waiting for that skin for a while. Thank you, Thomas. But we got some other stuff coming this patch. Some stuff that's maybe a little bit spookier. Last
He's
week we
pretty
had
spooky.
Christmas
Yeah.
in July. I'm not going to say it's Halloween in July. That would be a little premature.
That would be
little bit.
weird.
Yeah.
That would be. Nobody
odd.
says that.
Nobody
That's an odd
says that.
saying. Yes. Yeah,
But we've got just a hint of it coming for your boy Maldamba.
Yeah, so we have a great rare skin from Aldamba here, the Defiler, and it's really, really nice. Like the coloration and hue with him is beautiful. The snake has a very dark kind of like crimson, kind of purple kind of look to it, which is really, really nice.
You know, I actually love the color change of his flesh. What made you decide to go for that as opposed to his normal skin tone?
Well, as we were looking at it, kind of different ways to kind of push the skin, and one of the things we've done with a few of our different kind of rares, especially is we've played with kind of color tone and hues. We haven't done it as much with our kind of more humanoid kind of ones, and for this skin, it just kind of fit. It kind of gives that
I think it looks
not
good, yeah.
not quite undead, but kind of unsettling kind of feel to it, and in 1P looks amazing.
Is Maldamba undead? Spoiler.
He is with this skin. So check out the rare skin from
No one
Maldamba,
can see my face.
Defiler,
You can see your face.
and you can
Just
come
like
back from the
Madamba.
dead.
It's like a mask. So.
All right. Well, we've seen some mastery skins. We've
Yeah.
seen a rare skin.
Oh, we got epics.
We got epics.
We got
Purples.
epics.
News to
Yes.
me. Let's check them out. And I heard the first one is going to be Willow, finally getting a skin in the realm. Take a look. It is Hemlock Willow coming to you in Open Beta 55. And I love that this weapon it's a whole different feel for the wand.
Yeah, definitely. So it's a full treatment. Actually, this skin was a testament to kind of the work from our tech artist and from our rigging groups, as well as our modelers and concept and VFX. But there's a few things that we've done for the very first time with this skin. One is you can obviously see, kind of a big change in departure as far as for the silhouette of her wings. But the thing that really kind of captures attention is both the wand, as you mentioned, and then the head. So she actually has fire on her head, which is something, technically we haven't been able to do in the past as far as, kind of putting that in. Seeing her flying around in match and stuff with this thing on looks amazing. And then, as you mentioned, the wand, typically a flower, in this case has those kind of like those horns that kind of match her crown. And the animations, all new VFX, audio, there's a voice pack with this one. It's a full epic treatment for Willow. That looks really, really good. And it is exciting to see in a match.
The audio specifically, too. Her base character is so kind of like upbeat and happy, right? I know for a fact that the sound crew kind of put a lot of effort into really selling that like kind of malevolent feel and image. It's super dope.
Yeah.
I think it came through awesome, and especially the way this skin looks, the way this skin sounds.
Well, what better way to find out how she
hear
sounds
it.
than listen to her voice?
I love this voice pack. So
let's take a listen.
see, it's great.
It's good.
It's
so
definitely
good.
silent.
It's pretty good.
So good. Very different from her base.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, in the meantime, while we get that ready, I also noticed these wings where they're not full, right? Like it's not the same full wing that we have going on for the base Willow. Was that something that you guys had planned like from the start to do for her?
It was. It went all the way back to the original sketch for the skin. We knew we wanted to break it up, give a different silhouette, and use the shape of the wings to also kind of play into that personality and that tone. As I've mentioned before, skins is a good opportunity for the art team and for us as creatives to kind of play outside the normal base character, and we wanted that to communicate in this. So she's got the horn, she's got a lot of sharp areas, she's got
She's
and that
sinister,
silhouette.
man. She looks cool.
It's so good. It's she's dark. It's wonderful.
It's really cool. And I mean, Willow, she's like friendly and upbeat, but there's sort of this like hint that she'll mess you up. And this skin is just like
She'll mess you up.
she'll mess you up.
Yeah.
That's
Goes
it.
to dark places.
Yeah.
Goes to dark places.
definitely.
So check out Hemlock Willow coming in this patch. And let's take a look at her. We've got Hemlock Willow on the screen. Still playful, but this is it's a little bit more of a sinister kind of playful going on here, which I love.
Yeah, actually, don't think those sounds are coming through, guys, so sorry about that. But the animations on that weapon are pretty freaking cool. Wow, I almost swore that was bad. The overall impact of like kind of the new weapon is so cool with her because it's such a departure from the base.
There we go.
Oh,
that reload. The reload's so
I
good.
love it.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, definitely a really great example of kind of what we're able to do in Paladins with our skin system, and mixing and matching. I'm sure some of these parts and pieces with others will be just as badass.
Yeah, I mean, I love the seedlings. They've got a whole different look to them too, with the pink highlights on them. That's so cool. Makes them a bit more noticeable too.
Yeah, it was one of the things we knew. Like, there's a lot of actual like gameplay tells that we pay attention to on the art side, and things we do around messaging. Those seedlings extremely dangerous, can definitely do some damage, and so we wanted to make sure, even though it's a skin, and even though we're playing in kind of a different color realm, that it has that same kind of clear messaging to the player as far as that they're about to have a bad day.
Or a good day.
Yeah.
Well, if you're
always
Willow,
fun.
if
It's
you're
always fun.
Willow,
It's
you'll
always
have
fun.
a good
It's
day.
always fine.
She's gonna make it fun for you. So check that out. It'll be cool. The sounds were not in for the abilities yet,
Yeah.
but I have heard some of them from the sound
They're
team. They're gonna be
badass
really
guys,
cool.
yeah.
Excellent.
So check those out. Well, over the weekend, and I'm sure they'll be up in some sort of teaser at some point.
Yeah.
So go ahead and check those out. But we do have one more epic skin, I've heard.
That's true. I was trolling a little bit earlier. Papa Torvald, just a little bit.
No.
So I've been known.
No.
I've been known. But yeah, Papa Torvald is getting some love this patch, and there's a lot of reasons for that. Like one of the other changes that we're doing. Actually,
Boom.
there you go.
There you go.
That's what's happening. That's what's coming. So
That really is Papa Torvald.
yes.
Torvald.
So
Clockwork is the name of the skin specifically.
So.
He definitely is.
Are there going to be gears?
Oh, there's gears. There is multiple gears, things moving. There's gadgetry. It's really
You really
a good
geared him
skin.
out.
It's definitely working.
Yes, he's
It's
geared out.
definitely working.
All right,
So,
great.
But yeah, he's a full epic as well. So it's a voice pack, it's VFX, it's new weapon, it's a body, it's an accessory, and that's another change we have. So if you flip them back around, let's see the back and see that backpack. And one of the reasons I want to focus on this is one of the changes that we're actually making with Torvald, and it's part of the reason for the delay that we've had as far as getting a skin to him and stuff is we've actually gone back through all the Torvalds, and as you know before, like his accessory was kind of like his headpieces, which for the most part, especially with our common skins, was basically just changing the colors of his spectacles.
Glasses, yeah.
Right, which is fine, and sure, we could put a hat on him like we did with the skin.
It's a cool hat.
But kind of looking at it, wanting to make sure that we had good accessory piece that had a good mix match combination for him. Is we have made the change where the glasses are no longer his headpiece, his accessory that's going with this. We have now switched that to the backpack, the rucksack on the back. And so not only with this one, but with all the other ones, you'll be able to mix and match. So as he gets more skins, as you see this backpack, you'll be able to put this on base Torvald and mix and match to your leisure. So.
Yeah,
So I can have
definitely good
normal Torvald, like I can make steampunk powered grandpa.
That's true. That is true.
I'm excited for that too. Gonna have to check this skin out, and I can't wait to see that glove in first person.
Oh my goodness, the glove is so good. So Paul, that was one of the other reasons is Paul is one of our weapon artists. He did the original Torvald gauntlet, did an amazing job with it. Again, it like the tech art team, the rigging team, there's a lot of stuff that goes into making that gauntlet work the way it does, have the reaction it does, and the feel that you get from it in game. And that was something we wanted to really make sure we captured with this one, especially with the additional complexities of the gears and the things with the theme that we added to it. So we were able to kind of wait a little bit in the schedule and make sure that came back to kind of the original artist that worked on it. And then Elijah on the character side did the base character as well. So
Yeah, I think it's really masterful. It's like this master crafted piece of like brass and gold and energy film. It's really cool, and I just want to see it in game.
Does it have
honestly.
spinning gears?
oh yes,
Yes.
oh yes, oh yeah, lots
It
of
is
lots of
spinning
spinning
gears.
gears.
All
so.
right. You got me. I'm ready.
Let's do it.
So we're going to check this out in game in a moment. Once again, this is going to be another epic skin available in Open Beta 55 on top of that Hemlock Willow.
That's correct.
And
Right.
it is sort of filling out a little bit of a steampunk atmosphere
that's
we've
right.
got
We-
with a few skins.
Yeah, we've
Yes.
done that with a few other skins.
Yep.
So
He will be available
Yeah.
for purchase in the realm in a steampunk themed clockwork chest. It's going to be him,
Yep.
Steam Demon Androxus, and the Chancellor Maldamba. So
Ooh.
all three of
Those are
those
some good
kind of-
skins.
yeah, really high quality, something that I think a lot of our players will like, and you got chances at all of them. So
yeah, and I will say, like the chest itself. I mean, we usually don't talk much about it. We might flash a little picture of it or something like that. This chest is
cool?
amazing. So
Nice.
you were talking about gears. This chest, when it falls, it's like, and as a key hits in, it goes. It springs open. It's
All the
actually
clicking and-
yeah. It's not often I geek out about the chests themselves, but in this case, totally worth it, and obviously the great content inside.
yeah.
So you're saying you would get the chest just to open it.
Oh,
And then the skin is extra.
I have opened
You-
this
you
chest
heard it
so
here
many
first.
times. Yeah.
All right. Well, can't wait to do that. Do we have Torvald available in-game? Is that something that we can show? All right. Well, not quite yet, so just give us a moment. We'll get that going.
He's waited too long. He can wait just a
he
few
can wait just a
more
little
minutes,
bit
just
longer.
A little bit longer.
So, yeah, Torvald, he does have a unique weapon among the cast, right?
Yes,
He's
absolutely.
got that hand, the power. What are we calling
It's a
this
gauntlet.
one? It's right, but this one is the Clockwork
Steam Fist.
Steam Fist. That's such a cool name. All right.
It is.
These are the three people responsible for naming all the items in the
Whoa,
game.
whoa, whoa,
so
whoa.
I just want to just give them
I
full
just-
credit here for all their hard work and effort. So
Thanks,
I
man.
just work here.
you're welcome. You're
Yeah.
welcome.
I just work here. But that's a different weapon. So how do you think the way that that's presented in first person, like the little bit of the tracking and all that, do you think that made selling this skin easier for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think like it's one of the things, like as we're making a champion, we're obviously, there's other ideas or explorations that we have in the base champion that sometimes don't fit like the overall theme of the game or necessarily the tone of it, but when you hear it, you're like, yeah, that's going to be a skin. And so there's a number of skins we already know we're going to do. Like, because the idea is just too good. And
can you tell me any of them?
Well, we're going to make a steampunk Torvald, and it's just it almost writes itself.
I like
so,
that.
Sure.
But there's skins like that, and this one is definitely one of those. The idea of just having that gauntlet and having the gears and having those kind of things is just a natural marrying of both the theme and the execution. And as I said, I mean, there's a lot of work from Ben and our tech art group and Abe and his rigging group, as well as on the modeling side as Paul, as I mentioned, to get all of that to kind of function and kind of work correctly. And then you got Dan with the animators and just getting all the functionality to read on it. And it's actually probably to me one of my favorite weapons in the game, because I think how we message that and how we can communicate that stuff visually while still feeling true to kind of its base form is just really well executed.
I completely agree, and I can't wait to see what skins we get to do with it, because everything that we get to iterate on and create with it is going to be just as kind of complex and like magnificent. Because like even when we do eventually show you guys what it sounds like in game, it's just
we got it. There it is.
Awesome. See, why didn't you ask for that earlier? So
Garrett just had to say the magic words, and we got it for you. This is the Clockwork Steam Fist.
Yeah.
And it's pretty sweet. We've got an ultimate for you, so let's check that out. Let's see what happens when it is working.
Oh, it's got like the... I hadn't even heard that yet. It's so good.
It clicks, and it's got steam rising out of it. Even all the time, you can see that little steam coming out of the wrist piece right there.
3, 2, 1.
It's magnificent. Can we just see the normal beam on one of those Cassies?
Yes, please. That sounds awesome. It's so tactile and like clicky-clack.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You can see the gears like kind of moving in it as the elements light up. The springs kind of load in as far as for the reload. It's just really well done.
Even the protection just sort of popping out there at the bottom. And honestly, the more I look at this, it sort of feels like the base Torvald is like his own version of steampunk. Like just the sort of like I can do it myself kind of thing. I made this whole new thing. Oh, that green! I'm sorry, I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's cool, and it is nice. Like I will point out, like just because make sure credits where it is we do have a bug right now, sort of like the sound that we were having earlier, and we'll kind of get addressed either before PTS or afterwards. In this case, similar to what you saw in the splash art that we showed earlier, his fingertips are these metal framed, kind of almost glass, green filled kind of canisters, and in this case they're kind of missing. So his fingers feel a little bit kind of naked there and a little bit more skeletal than they will feel in the finished version, and you get that nice pop of color at the end that plays into all of these effects and all of these abilities.
But we will be able to see that in the client when it's released. So if you go and preview the weapon...
totally, yeah. So,
all right. Awesome. So make sure you guys
awesome.
check that out. That weapon's going to be really fun to lose. And maybe it's just the green, but it feels like it's going to be more satisfying to kill people.
Yeah, that pretty much sums it up.
All right.
I think so.
Sounds good to me.
Yes.
Thomas, what else do we have? I mean, you give me 2 epic skins. Mastery skin.
Oh my goodness,
You promised me a map.
Oh, that's right, I did.
You promised me a map. So do we have a video? Can we show a video for that?
We should.
We
Can
should.
you just play that?
Yeah, let's play the video.
Talking too much anyways.
Well, that seems pretty cool. I am amazed. I am amazed that I asked you to make us a map like 20 minutes ago and you had a video ready.
We worked fast here.
All right, so usually I would troll in this moment, but that would be really, really unfair to the multitudes of people that did lots of months of work on this thing. The environment team did an amazing job, Anthony and his group, and Clay was the point person for this map, and I think he did a really good job of kind of coordinating the efforts, both across the 3D artist, across John, our lighter, and then on the concept side for the visual design, we have Anna and Maeve and Wes helped out a lot, and basically basically did the visual design of this as far as the 2D concepts. I'll probably be sharing those out. Maybe I've gotten permission from community, so they wouldn't let me spoil it.
Nice.
But I think I'm going to be sharing out some of the concepts because they're really, really beautiful. This is a beautifully designed map. It's a fresh new color scheme, fresh new location, and kind of a dip into kind of the more industrial kind of settings that we have in the realm, which is something we don't have yet in our levels.
Yeah, it's gorgeous, man. And just as the teams of making it pretty, there's also the designer, Andrew, who created this one. This actually was a map that was formerly in test queue, guys. So all my test queue queuers out there, this was Grotto. So it has machinated its way and been created into this beautiful siege map for you guys today.
Definitely. And one of the things I'll give a shout out to Andrew as well and to the design team for this is there's some really, really interesting things that are being done in this map for the first time, not only on the art side, but with the design side. So you can see right there, one of them is that environmental hazard.
Lava.
So it's not lava. It's like molten
metal.
Molten metal, yeah. Okay. So it's a gold mine as far as the quarry that it's in. There's also there's a mining kind of boring machine that you see in there that will also kind of
It's actually a very exciting machine.
It's very exciting.
It's not a boring machine. Okay.
It's a good one.
Is Garrett making jokes?
Yeah.
Is Garrett making jokes?
I'm rubbing off on him.
Wow.
Jokes.
Wow.
Took a bit.
Okay. Yeah.
But we got it. So I'm not going to let you pull a fast one on me, though. I saw some goblins in there.
You might have seen a couple.
There's
I might have seen
stuff.
like a lifter suit, like I don't know, just sort of like a work suit, like a mechanical suit to like lift things and stuff.
Well, it's a mining operation,
Okay.
right? I mean, they're
And
mining.
the goblins
they're
are the
mining
miners,
gold
I guess?
And, yeah. That would, maybe not by choice, but they are there. And,
Okay.
and as you know, goblins happen to be very small and sometimes weak kind of creatures
And
by
sometimes
themselves.
fit in mech suits.
But if you give them something to work within, they can be very, very powerful. And so, so what you'll see in this is, without giving too much away, is similar to Bright Marsh and some of our other maps. This one is actually tied to some of our champions, as you saw in the reveal video that we showed at DreamHack, and then here today as well. There's something about Ruckus, which we can talk about in a minute, but it is tied to his backstory. There's also a little bit of the backstory having to do with Barrick and some other elements with it. And the environment team's done a great job of storytelling. And so as you go through that, you kind of see, Ruckus's mech is Bolt, of course, and who has his own personality and his own kind of tone. But you kind of see what Bolt was before he was that, which was just essentially a mining suit. For a goblin to wear. So, but yeah, there's some great storytelling in there. I don't want to spoil all of it because I do want the players.
Yeah, you're just spoiling everything.
No spoils.
You just said backstory, story.
Name drop,
you didn't
name drop.
specifically say lore.
Okay, so there is lore, but no, I don't want to spoil everything because honestly, this map has a ton of humorous and good storytelling in it, and I do want the players on PTS, and especially when we go live next week, to be able to kind of play through it, kind of see it themselves, see some of the graffiti, and kind of see some of the storylines that are kind of set within that environment storytelling.
But this is a little bit more tied to a character than Brightmarsh was. Well, Brightmarsh is home of the people, the Pip people.
Yes,
the Vulpins.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. This actually coming along with it is a visual update for Ruckus.
That's true. So we are, there you go. You can kind of see him as you did with the end of the trailer. He's getting a whole visual work. So gameplay-wise, he's the same loved character that you've been using. But visually, we wanted to rework him. And there's a couple of reasons for this. One is kind of the more boring reason, right? Which is performance-wise, he by far was our worst offender as far as a champion, actually negatively impacting your frames per second, your FPS, and your overall performance in the match, to a point where we've been doing work on him over months, and what we kind of came to was just some of the elements of how he was originally built and how he was originally designed was creating a lot of those issues that we just couldn't kind of fix. So we knew we had to kind of rework him anyway. And as we went in to basically get those performance gains, it also gave us opportunity to kind of take a look at what would that suit really look like in our fantasy world? How would that tie into his lore as far as being in this gold mine? And what would, basically Bolt be built from? And so in the map, you can see kind of what the basic mechs kind of are. Basically, again, what Bolt was before Bolt became Bolt. As far as his backstory and lore, there are still two of them. Bolt still has his his own personality. As you saw kind of in the lobby there, there's a massive crystal, as we know, which holds magical powers. That's in the front of that. It doesn't look like it's made to fit there because it wasn't. Ruckus basically installed it himself without knowledge that, at least at the time, that it actually did trap kind of the spirit and soul of another character. So again, I don't want to give too much away, but
You're just giving it all away.
You're just giving it all away.
I don't know. They'll yell at me later. I want to say it all, but yeah. So Ruckus and Bolt is still the odd couple. You're still going to have those voice lines back and forth. You're still going to have that presentation. It's just the story's a little bit different from what I think people kind of saw it, and now you can kind of see not only the location that it happened in, and kind of see the transformation that Bolt underwent, but kind of see what that change has done to them.
Yeah.
And then one of the things, again, I know I've been kind of bragging on the tech art group and some of our engineers and that stuff for a lot of these skins, but with this one specifically, and tied into with Noah and our audio group, has done an amazing job. Which is, in the past, it's like, okay, the mech is there, and you hear these two voices. You can kind of sort it out to yourself that like Ruckus is one voice and Bolt is this other voice, but we didn't really have a good way to visually
ground it,
to communicate that, to have that resonate. And with the rework, that's something we definitely wanted to kind of change. And so again, Bolt is the mech's called Bolt, but the personality is the soul that is trapped within this crystal. And so you'll see this crystal kind of pulse, and you'll see it respond when he talks. And so now you have this kind of back and forth feeling where it's like, okay, I'm Ruckus, but I'm actually hearing and seeing the mech respond.
So
it's really nice.
Cool. Is the voice coming out of the crystal? Or is the voice coming out of the mech by way of the crystal? It's
in the crystal.
Okay.
And then also it's like, it's a mech. It's meant to mine gold and do this other stuff. Obviously, Ruckus has helped with a few additions of like miniguns and other armaments and stuff like that.
Shields.
But it's not magical, and so but the crystal itself is, and so he's got a shield ability, which as we know is pretty much projected magic, and so this ties in with that as well. So you'll see that update to that ability from a visual standpoint that kind of makes it kind of just ground it, feel a little bit better.
There you go.
Yeah,
this is Quarry, and this is the new Ruckus from his first-person cockpit.
Yep.
Right under that giant shredder, which I absolutely love, is like a landmark that's really. It's really in there. You can't not see it.
Yeah. So I don't even yes.
Yeah.
Like, do we talk about the map? Do we talk about Ruckus? What do we talk about here?
Right.
Like, there's just so much good things that are kind of going on with this. So.
Bolt on his shoulder.
So let's talk about Ruckus here. And you know what? I love this firing sound, but let's just take a moment of silence to appreciate the walk sound. It's so clunky.
It is clunky.
But like a good clunky, right? Like it's like a mech that
it
feels like you're moving with the mech. It's got that stompy 1-2 pace. I absolutely adore that. And it's just I really like this skin.
Yeah. It's beautiful. So the one thing I will say though is as far as like this is his new base. This is Ruckus. This is not a skin. As we've done before, we are going to take his old base. It will be maintaining its spot in the realm. I think you guys. What was the name that you guys came up with it?
BETA.
Beta.
All right. So that skin will be there, and so if that's what you like, if you like that more kind of sci-fi kind of feel, it's definitely still there, still available. His commons have been reworked along with his base into kind of the more lore and kind of fantasy world appropriate Ruckus that you're kind of seeing on screen right now. So.
Can we do VGS? Is that sound crystal hooked up?
Awesome.
It is not hooked up.
It's also not the VGS. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So you will be able to see that in the final live build, but can we go back to the capture point? I want to once again take a look at that giant saw. Is it a stone saw?
It is. So as you kind of look around, this is a gold mining operation. If you look up the walls, you'll see the light kind of catch the speck across all those veins
cool.
of gold, along with some gold nuggets in different areas. And then, of course, it's the machinery and the stuff that they use to kind of mine that gold and grind for that gold in the realm.
It's gorgeous, man.
Nice.
The little like kind of Easter eggs of the graffiti going through this map and finding it is my favorite part. And I don't think we should spoil it on stream, but I will tell the players that you should go and kind of comb over this map with like a fine tooth. Yeah, that's the
That's the
phrase.
word. Yeah.
But really great storytelling, beautiful map, fun to play. Definitely check it out, guys.
Yeah, definitely excited to hear some feedback on this one because this is one of the first maps that we've taken fully through our test queue and all the way through development and stuff. So it's going to be interesting. We have a lot of faith, and a lot of confidence that process of allowing people to play and getting feedback early from the community leads to better and more engaging, gameplay spaces. And so it'll be good to see that either confirmed or give us some good feedback that we can rely on from it.
Absolutely. Nice guns. Some big guns. Can't wait to play that in live with the new Ruckus, or I don't know. I'm still really excited about the green laser from Torvald.
Yes.
We do have a new champion this patch, but they're telling me I can't talk about it yet. We do have some other stuff. And fresh from the design team, we actually have a new enchanted key option for the Radiant chest.
That is true.
Garrett, tell us a little bit about this.
Absolutely. So we saw a lot of success and a lot of really positive feedback from the enchanted key. Have a lot of people kind of getting into the system and they love the uniques and things like that.
Yep.
So we'd like to give you guys the opportunity to kind of do a similar function, but except with legendary cards. So you're going to be able to get a legendary enchanted key just as you would before, guarantee a legendary card, and then also get guaranteed uniques afterwards, which theoretically could also result in more legendaries.
So first of all, I absolutely love the enchanted key. I have a certain red Ceres and some other skins. Thanks very much. Thanks to this. But so an enchanted key, I'm guaranteed all the slots are fully unique.
That's
and what
correct.
you're saying
No
is if I
duplicates.
do the legendary enchanted key, then I get all unique slots except for one of those at least is guaranteed to be one of the
It's
legendary
guaranteed to be
cards?
a legendary and a unique legendary, and theoretically you could
nice.
roll the other ones as a legendary as well.
Oh, awesome.
But you're guaranteed
Okay.
a minimum of one. So it's a really solid way to kind of, you want to branch out, fill in your legendaries. Optimal path right there.
Sounds pretty good. And speaking of branching out, I heard about another feature we're implementing this patch. We're going to be adding a champion rotation. So long story short, when you log into OB55, if you're a new player or someone who just started fairly recently, maybe doesn't own all the champions yet, every week you're going to have some new champions to try out and see if they're something that you like and you'd want to prioritize unlocking. So, Garrett, explain this one to me.
Absolutely. So, really excited to kind of introduce this more robust, more intricate champion rotation for you guys. Previously, we've had the system where it was just, here's this allotment of free champions, and that's it. It's a little boring, lack of variety, and then you kind of just see the same champions being played over again. We love it when you guys kind of experiment with the different roles in the game, the different characters. That's why we make them. The amount of variation that this new system brings is really a lot. So what's going to happen is that we're taking our current population of, I believe, 9 free champions.
8 free champions.
8 free champions, and we're going to cut it down to 5 free all the time. And then we're going to rotate in 4 more that are going to, again, rotate on an alternating basis. So every week, 2 of these will swap out. And not only, it's not random, it is, these are intelligently picked, so it's of a very, I guess, good form of roles, I guess, if that makes sense. So it's like when we rotate in, you'll always have an option for another support, another flank, another damage, and another front line. So a very good choice of characters and selections to really maximize kind of testing out these characters. Oh, maybe I've been grinding a lot of gold. Not sure if I want this character. I mean, he looks dope, but what if I don't? What if I'm not about him? Comes around in the free rotation, play him. Oh my gosh, it's fun. Pick him up, enjoy it, and start unlocking his cards. Like, it's something we've been wanting to do for a while, and we're happy we're able to bring it to you guys now.
That's nice, especially with 30 champions.
Yeah.
That's right. But what if I'm a player that already is playing the game? What's going to happen to the champions that we're removing from the
free
list
roster?
of static
Yep,
free roster?
yep.
Yeah.
You get them. They're
All
yours.
right. Sounds good. So if
Yep.
you are a returning player, you will have the 8 free champions plus 4 more on rotation, which could include the ones that you already have because they were previously free.
Right.
If you're a new player, you're going to have 9 free champions, 4 of which will rotate. So check that out. I'm excited.
Nice.
Last thing, test queues. We introduced our first test queue onslaught map.
That's correct.
We're gonna do it again.
Yes. We've seen a lot of good feedback from this mode from our players. We've been doing minor tweaks, and the things that we're able to do with Onslaught are very different than what we can do in Siege. It's a whole different kind of fast combat-paced environment, and we're really happy to kind of test these in the test queue. I mean, as you can see, our process is such that we like getting these things out in front of you guys really early, and it informs our process as developers. Literally, we just released this map for you guys. That started. It was the wee baby grotto, and it's manifested itself into what it is today. So maybe some of these Onslaught maps we're building too will find their way into a full art set in the future.
Garrett, can we also have some more Onslaught maps this patch? Could you do that?
I'll allow it. Yep.
Okay.
I'm thinking.
I'll do 2.
2?
I'm going to one-up him. I'll do 2.
That's fair. That's
All
fair.
right. Which 2?
Thomas is a fair man.
Some arted ones.
Yeah. Those are the best kind.
Yeah.
I'm thinking just because of the way our maps are built and distance to capture point from spawn, I think Bright Marsh would be a really good slot in.
Yep.
And then probably also Jaguar Falls because it's kind of close and compact, facilitates the Onslaught gameplay. So I think those are the 2 that we will be shipping in this patch for the Onslaught game.
All right. So 4 maps this patch.
Yep.
You're gonna have the all-new Quarry.
Yep.
Unless you played test queue, and then it's. Well, you've seen it before, but now it's got an awesome coat of paint. Might as well be a whole new thing. You've got 2 new Onslaught maps, Bright Marsh and Jaguar Falls. You played them before. They're awesome maps. And then you got a whole new test map to check out. Lots of stuff to work
That
through.
is a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
What if you got a new way to experience it, too? We've got Jenos on the way, a new
Nice.
champion entering the realm. And he's going to be a new support, and I know that because I saw Thomas spoiling it on Twitter. They didn't actually tell me.
Shame.
My followers said they wouldn't tell anyone.
I'm a follower, Thomas, and I lied.
Let's roll that video.
lied.
So.
So Jenos the Ascended is going to be coming to the realm this patch. Charles, I'm told you worked on this champion, so what's the core thing about him? What's the core gameplay of Jenos?
The core gameplay with this guy is he is meant to be sort of a heal and forget, go have some fun shooting people kind of support. You know, we kind of feel like we needed that kind of gameplay in that role, so you could hang with your buddies and just, you know, if you want to go frag some noobs, you don't have to worry about, you know, constantly keeping track. Okay, this guy. No, just boom, time to go have some fun.
All right.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll dive into the kit a little bit later, but he's got a pretty cool visual presentation too. With he's
That's
got
correct.
he's got a bit of a theme, doesn't he?
He does. He's a little bit different from the other champions that we've presented so far. So you know, his title, as we've kind of already kind of leaked out at DreamHack, is the Ascended, and that really is kind of at the core of his whole character is what ties into his backstory. So he was a man, you know, and but he kind of went to this place. It sounds like a really interesting place. Maybe a place we would want to explore at some point in the future in a different map. But he kind of went to these mountaintops and instead of looking for the answers, you know, amongst his fellow men or elves or whatever, or you know, here on Earth, he kind of he kind of looked to the stars, and so you know, and he found it. Like so, he kind of went through a transition with it, and he basically. He's a powerful magical being at this point. You know, he knows things he shouldn't know. He's our first male kind of floating character, which is great. And he has this power. He has this power to create a lot of damage at the you know, on his foes, or he can bestow the healing, you know, to
this
his
motion,
friends.
guys.
So, but we really should just check it out because I think as you see the
I'm
theme
gonna
come
let you
together,
finish. I can't wait any longer.
Yeah.
Let's roll a clip. Let's check out Jenos the Ascended.
Nice.
Wow. All right.
Oh.
That was tight.
You had me at controlling the sky
yeah.
and
So
flying.
yeah, our animation team our cinematic group, the audio team, like across the board. I just love these reveal trailers that they've been doing. They're really kind of raising it up. And then, as I mentioned here, you can see there's definitely a certain kind of astronomy, astrology, kind of star heavenly kind of base to him that plays a lot into his character. And then that's the big thing is like as a support and as a healing, he literally has the stars in his hand and can kind of control them and influence them to his will. And so as you saw in the trailer, you saw two of his constellations. You saw the Lotus, which is associated with his healing, and you saw the Scorpion, which is associated with one of his abilities that I'll let Charles talk about a little bit once we get into game. There is also a third constellation, which is the Rabbit or the Hare, that also plays into his abilities. But his control over those, this beautiful kind of unique weapon he has, as Charles mentioned with the gameplay, like that's the kind of healer I want to be, right? Like I don't mind playing healer. I play all the roles. I'll support my team. I'll do
His
the team
Makoa
comp.
is off the
I was about
off
to
the
make
charts.
the off the chain.
Yes, but
No, it's on the chain.
But yeah, so it's definitely it's one of those characters though where. And this is one of the things I really like about Paladins is I can play a role and I can do my part as a team, but I don't necessarily have to completely give up my type of play style. And I'm a damage character. Like that is who I like to play. I like to punish my opponents. I I play a lot of damage. I play a lot of flank.
This guy can definitely punish.
And as a healer, I love the opportunity to contribute in a team fight as well as contribute like with the functional healing.
With the
role.
heals, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, you're going to be able to do both with Jenos. I can't wait to get into his abilities. But the real thing that I love about his presentation is he's majestic. Really, I think is the word, right? Like,
But powerful.
I went out Wednesday night and I was up in the mountains of northern Georgia. Yeah, I do actually get away from work sometimes. I was in the mountains of northern Georgia. There were no clouds in the sky. It was just stars everywhere. And like it's that sort of thing that evokes the same feeling as Jenos does. He's just so powerful and so cool the way he presents himself. So
yeah, it's really nice, and I think the visual theming for him came together really well. I think playing across the VFX with the animation team, with the modelers as well, it really kind of came together around this character that I think his personality carries through, right? So, and I think, we didn't get a chance to see it in lobby, but he does have, I'll say, just because, the number of skins we've had in this patch already. He also has a common, which is basically taking his core key color and switching that out for a green, which is beautiful. And then he also has an uncommon, which has a whole new color scheme to him. Cool. Has a whole new different kind of tone to what he looks like. So.
All right, I got to get in game. I got to see what this guy can do. So let's take a look at Jenos, the Ascended. There's his 1P, showing it off.
Oh my god, I love these effects on just like the gun and in his left hand there.
Yeah, just holding the power in his hands.
Let's take a moment to look at that gun, though.
Yeah.
All right, so let's take a look at this weapon. It's fast firing. Thomas, did you get the orbs to spin when he fires?
I did not. Our
Not you
technical
personally.
You personally, Thomas.
I
You
personally
facilitated.
didn't get it. But yeah, no, it's wonderful. There's a lot of new tech that went into this one as well. You can see, I think it's an armillary. I can never pronounce that. Yes, I can never pronounce that correctly, but it's really kind of key to the gun. This gun it's obviously a gun, right? You can see where it shoots from. It has that kind of instant feedback. There's also something you'll see with this, which is kind of like that progressive kind of like feedback on the fire, which is really nice and a new feature we've added for this. And then, the weapon itself, though, just has this unique feel that is tied into his theme. Adam, who's basically our lead weapon artist, is responsible for working on the model for this one. So he did a great job.
It's
and
killer,
I think its presentation, both in 1P and obviously in 3P, is just dead on.
It certainly is killer. So Charles, tell me a bit about this weapon. It seems a little atypical for what we have in our Paladin supports.
Yeah, well, this guy, his weapon definitely sort of evokes sort of that kind of assault rifle kind of gunplay that is definitely like exists in the damage class, but not so much in the support role. And we just kind of wanted to bring, a bit more of a familiar kind of gunplay back into this particular role, and I really like how this gun sort of turned out. It doesn't really have any sort of like spread out as you fire it. It's a little bit inaccurate, but overall just a powerful weapon that brings his DPS like pretty. It's not going to like compare to a lot of damage, but for support, whoa,
it's pretty good. All right.
It's good.
Well, we've got his weapon. Can we check out his healing and explain a little bit about how this works? I see the Lotus over his head. I saw it flash in his left hand too. So what's that actually doing right now?
All right, now the ally's at full health right now, but if they were damaged, they'd be getting a nice chunky heal for a long time. That is, this is like basically a heal over time that lasts about 10 seconds. And it goes at about like 250 health per second. So it's not as, like crazy healing power as like a Maldamba or Ceres, but the time that it sticks on them can really add up if they're in the fight or if they're just like poking out from corner and corner.
Can I have multiple of those out at the same time?
Yes, you can. The cooldown on this is already at like 8, and the lifetime on this is 10. So if you keep your heals going, if you keep your cooldown cards up, you can get your whole team like buffed and healed and good to go for the entire fight.
All right. Well, you showed me how to kill people. You showed me how to heal people. Oh, what else does he do?
One more thing about this heal that it's also one of the only heals that does not require like line of sight to actually apply. Like
that's big.
You can go behind like that corner in that building and look at them, and just heal them. They're good to go. You can go do your thing.
So what you're telling me is, if my buddy Garrett, if we queue together, which we don't, because he's not a very good friend, and he's playing Maeve, and he's just doing all his zippity-doo, jumping around, I can just heal him through walls. And it's cool, and it'll just be on him for like 10 seconds?
That's right.
You're too good to me, Charles. All right, tell me about this Q. What does it do?
All right, this Q is, I think, my new favorite sort of CC in the game. It is, it's called Void Grip. What it does is it lifts up the opponent in just a couple of spaces in the air, and while they're in the air, like they normally can't move, and they're just kind of helpless there. And it's just the greatest thing for like setting up kills. Like this with a Ruckus, like just firing on the point, you just lift up their enemy front line or something, they just melt. And it's, I don't know, it also reminds me so much of one of my favorite sci-fi movie series.
There's a little bit of counterplay too.
A little bit.
Yes, there is. This ability is, you're not totally helpless while you're as a victim of this. Like, so long as you manage to get some kind of movement in that state, it will interrupt this ability. So like movement abilities, knockbacks, things like that. A Makoa chain.
Well, that might not be an escape. That might be bad for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, and as you can see, for this, our messaging, is we wanted to be very, very clear, especially because, he can do a lot of these things without direct line of sight with his heal and that kind of stuff. So we wanted to make sure that the messaging, which is what we use iconography around the constellations for, was extremely clear. And you can see the presentation here that from the animation and VFX team is, he's got those stars. He's got the stars constantly in his left hand, and they actually do a line to become the Lotus, to become the Scorpion, depending on which one it is. He also uses that star power that he focuses into his weapon on his reload. But as I mentioned before, he does have a third constellation, that I'll let you kind of talk a little bit about, but it's the Rabbit or the Hare, which plays into his movement there.
Yeah, so right now we're seeing Stellar Wind, his movement ability. It basically locks him out of using all his other stuff while he's in this state, but it is a toggleable state that just like gives him a big speed boost and also increases the jump height and lowers his his fall down speed. So you can like fly through the map on this if you've got the right sort of starting point.
Well, it's more like falling in style.
Yeah.
There
you go.
Shout out to Toy Story.
Shout outs.
To infinity.
So it's a
Speaking of
little
infinity, how long does that last again?
forever. Infinity. Boom. You can keep going. But so it's a little different from the other support movement abilities in the game. I mean, our last support, Ceres, you press F, you can't get killed.
You're gone, yeah. This isn't so much of a, like, oh crap, I'm in trouble, press the F button, now I'm good. It's more of a, you gotta, like, anticipate when trouble's coming your way and just get out of there. And the speed bonus you get, like, if you time that right, you're gone, you're safe, you're good.
Yeah, it's good, especially to as far as being able to reposition as a healer. Make sure that you can kind of get that support to the different members of your team, different areas, different routes. So I'm actually really excited to see what some coordinated teams out there end up doing with such a mobile kind of healer.
Oh yeah, like I mean, the heal through walls. If you're just out of range, just F right over there and get them. It's made very simple and easy.
All right, let's check out the ultimate. I can see us setting up for it.
Yeah.
Going behind a wall, that's a little strange.
Step into the light. The
Oh, I didn't see the
Might have been
animation
Let's
there.
do it
Close to
again
the
where we
wall.
can see the animation.
Yeah.
triple
Yeah, but
kill.
as you could kind of see there, it is a piercing ultimate that pretty much just creates this massive laser beam throughout the entire map and just
All the way,
all the way.
but not their spawn room.
Not okay. Yes. There are some safe places that would be kind of unfair to kill them in,
All right.
and you also can't use it in your spawn room.
Let's just see it before you go behind the walls. Let's just see it like just straight up, like
Straight up pentakill. Let's do it.
The parrot.
Ooh.
yeah. So you can kind of see the size of it with that grouping there.
Kill.
It's pretty big. Goes through walls and does
Step into the light.
fat damage.
Yeah, it's like 2,400 damage. It's gonna one-shot most of the cast.
He's got a bit of an ironic voice line too that I love. Just don't step into the light,
Don't do it.
and you won't die.
Don't run
Good.
from the light.
Yeah.
Caroline.
Now this ult isn't like isn't gonna like just be your.
The light. The
It's not gonna kill people that easily because
triple kill.
what is actually happening here when you trigger it is you are locked in place, and you're also locked in terms of where you can look. And it takes like about 1.5 seconds before it's actually gonna fire.
You gotta have good aim.
That's right. You gotta predict where they're gonna be, or you gotta have good coordinated play and pop a Sarasult or something.
Well, speaking of coordinated play, Garrett, tell me, what do you think is going to happen with this character in competitive play? Like, how is he different from the rest of our support cast?
Absolutely. So this guy definitely has an offensive edge to him, for sure, without a doubt. He has the closest thing to an assault rifle of any of our support characters. He has a very aggressive CC ability in that you can set up a pick with it with the press of a button. Definitely will kind of, if you pick up someone's support, it can get mowed down just like that. Also, an interesting bit of counterplay we found in playtesting is that this actually character counters Ashe, an Ashe ult, actually very effectively. Whenever she jumps in, you can A, catch her in the air before she even lands, or just lift her out of her safe space when she hits the ground, and then completely nullifies her ult. So really cool interactions and counterplay there.
And it's the first, like, damage support ult.
Yes, absolutely.
Into the light.
Boom. It's so cool. And actually, something that we didn't mention, and it's kind of hard to tell in that perspective, is that all along the path of that beam, there are VFX tells. There's these concentric rings that are spawning in world space that very clearly outline the damage area that's going to fill up with that big burst damage. So it's not just something that's magically going to kill you through a wall. It will very clearly dictate where the damage is going to be and leaves it up to you to exit that space.
Yeah,
I also
it-
saw the midair freeze, which is dope.
Yeah, it's cinematic, little anime. He might have said Kamehameha at one point in time, but
I don't think he did, actually. He said step into light and parry.
Yeah.
The stars will not
Well, that's Jenos coming to you in OB55. And Charles got a makeover real quick.
I know. What can I say?
What's up, Matt?
What's going on,
So
man?
I'm
you doing?
joined by
good.
Hyra's
I am
Juju.
great.
I'm joined by Hyra's Juju, our community guru. And we're going to have a little talk about some game balance.
Indeed, yeah. Filling in for Alyssa today. She's prepping up for that DreamHack
Well,
Atlanta.
and Lord Pretty Fair.
Yes.
He's still
yes.
is he in Spain? He's still in Spain, I think.
I think they're just having too good of a time.
That does sound fun.
I don't know if they're going to come back.
All right, so let's go through. We did mention the first few in when we were talking about Jenos. You can no longer use your ultimate in a spawn room, and you can no longer take damage in a spawn room.
Sure.
So, just sort of had to be done because of his ultimate.
Sure, yeah. And, if you're playing like someone with blast damage, you just can't sit there and suicide yourself. I mean, it took a lot of effort to do it.
Yeah.
So that's not happening anymore.
Boom. All right. Simple. The next one, though, might have to talk about a little bit more. Emotes have been
Yes.
changed. So explain this to me.
Sure. So anyone who's watched our competitive, you've probably seen, people get up to a corner, spam an emote, goes 3P, and then they quickly hop back into control of that character and get around that corner after having a peek. And,
Right. Yeah, no, totally.
And so, this was a change to try and kind of combat that and make it so that you really got to commit
So
to
it's
that
not
emote.
free. Because here's the actual change, right? When you use an emote, regardless of the emote, you'll be locked out for 2 seconds.
Yes.
You can't move, you can't break it, you can't take any action. Now, this is across all emotes. All emotes are longer than 2 seconds. So if you're doing like one of the awesome 9-second emotes like the Androxus Gunslinger, it's not going to be worse than any other emote, so don't worry about that. But basically, you just can't emote to look around a corner for free anymore. Maybe you could see someone really tanky like an Inara doing it at a choke point. I could see that, and I'm kind of okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, like, at that point, you're giving up 2 seconds. You know, it's not that quick, like, rapid fire, peek and back that you could do in a split second. And we saw people doing, particularly with, like, Cassie. Cassie was one that I think we saw it abused on quite a bit.
Well, she's a lot of burst damage right when you're around that corner, so it makes sense. Cool. Good fix. Moving on. Barrack, failsafe here, is no longer going to go on cooldown when rocket boots are already available. So I'm told that we actually have a bunch of changes like this. I only want to cover the first one.
Sure.
But basically, what does this do?
I mean, like, it was one of those deals where, you know, if the ability was coming down on cooldown already, it would cause it to get that refresh on screen. Correct? Yeah, and
That's
this is something that, just for the sake of consistency, there's no need for it.
Right. So to be clear, if you're running the card failsafe, right, which is when you drop low on health, it refreshes the cooldown on rocket boots. If you're already, if your rocket boots are already available, it's not going to refresh them because there's nothing to refresh.
So it's not going to burn that.
But the next time you take damage with your rocket boots offline, you will get the bonus, and the internal cooldown will not be used. We've got a bunch of cards like that. And we'll list them off when you hit them. Next up is Buck.
Yes.
Getting buff.
Yes, this was something that I think definitely makes sense given the changes that we had with Buck this last time around. And I think that those net builds became pretty popular. I mean, you could get in there, get a net on someone, get all that bonus damage. But it had kind of a long cooldown, and it was a little too punishing, at least in my opinion, if you missed that net. Even with
And it's not easy.
It's not. It's a slow projectile when you shoot it, especially if you're trying to get them from like a little bit further away. So
the cooldown of net shot reduced from 14 seconds to 12 seconds.
Yep, we're down to 12 seconds now on that. And then, you know, he's got other cards in his deck that you can use to kind of further modify that.
All right, Cassie, Somersault, just like Barrack, it's going to have the same treatment. It's not going to go on cooldown if it's activated when dodge roll is available. So that card fixed up a little bit. Moving on to Drogos. Bit of a nerf here to the Tyrant, the Dragon, the Greedy. Fire Spit, reduced range at which fall-off starts from 70% of the effect radius to 50% of the effect radius.
Sure. So it's no longer that, you know, point clearing thing that you spit it out and like you know you're just on the edge of it and it clips you and boom, you're dead. I mean, it's a bit more. You got to angle your shots a bit better and try and get them closer to your targets before shooting those rockets in.
So really, this is about the people who are on the very edge of the Fire Spit.
Yes.
All right. So if you're on the very edge of the Fire Spit, that's when you're going to see the most change to the damage fall off from Drogos. Survival card for him, getting the same treatment as above, will not go on cooldown when thrust is already available. Eevee, Blink, nice little change here. It's going to be more responsive on ping.
Absolutely. I mean, how many times you play an Eevee and you try and get that blink out and you're a little, you know, higher ping, and all of a sudden you're dead. You're just dead on the ground and you feel like you made that, but you know, so this right here is going to make it so that it's a bit more responsive, that you know, you hit that button to get out of there and you're out of there in a reasonable time.
Well, and it'll feel better too, right? Because so I talked to one of the programmers. He explained this to me. I didn't really understand it, but I'm going to try. Basically, we're making it so that your client, when you press the button, understands that you're going to blink forward and where you're going to go. So it's not just waiting for the server to move you and then your client's like, oh, I'm here now. Right? So your client's going to have a better understanding. It should feel a little bit better. Blink can be jarring the first time you play it, especially on higher ping. That should operate a little bit better. Fernando, getting a bit of the bat on the head.
Yeah, he's going to go from maximum health reduced from 5,500 to 5,000. So he's going to get clipped for about 500 health.
It's about 9%. But, I mean, Fernando, we just saw doing really well last patch.
He's been a monster, man. I've been happy to see the return of the one and only Flank Nando. I mean, as somebody who loves the tanks, I mean, you guys probably see me out in game playing super bad Juju. I'm always on. And
but you're not super bad.
depends.
Kinda
It
bad
depends.
juju?
Yeah, if it's like a Sky game or, the
Okay.
flankers, But for tanks, like, I am so glad to have Flank Nando back, and I think this is a smart move.
So the flank Nando
Yeah.
is not going to be quite as much of an unstoppable force. Speaking
I
of
see
which,
what you did there.
unstoppable force. We fixed a bug with this card.
Mm-hmm.
It's the knockback when you get hit by charge.
Yeah, there was a Reddit thread about this today, actually, which was pretty funny. Because,
Fast turnaround.
Yeah, I mean, boom, look at that. You ask, and these guys took care of it. So instead of just kind of, like shoving you like an old lady at the grocery store, he's coming in there and he's going to give you a little oomph this
Bit of
time.
it,
Yeah.
it is still a card. It's not a base ability knockback, so don't expect disengage.
Sure.
But it'll give you a good knockback.
It'll get him off that point.
That's right. That's right. So moving on to Grok quality of life, no longer hit stealth targets. Just
Yes.
it was a bit weird when you're Sky, someone next to you gets shock pulsed.
Yes.
And then and to be clear,
Well,
this is shock pulse, not his weapon.
The
it
bouncing
won't
orbs,
bounce
yeah.
to the stealth target.
Yes, and we saw that happen, I think, with Saris. I remember in a play test,
Sure.
and we're like, that doesn't look right, So
Bit strange. All right, moving on to Grover. Maximum health reduced from 3,000 to 2,700. From what I've heard, he's been a bit of a math problem.
I mean, like, Grover's one of those champions that he's just so well-rounded. I mean, you want to snipe with him? Go ahead. You take your card and you go back in the back line and you can snipe a Kinessa across the map.
Sure.
You want to heal with him? He's got that option. And there's not a lot of downsides to him. He's got the mobility. He's got, persistent healing. And so I think taking a little bit off the top end definitely made sense in this context. I mean, internally, we see the numbers and he's been out of control.
Overgrowth card is also going to get the same treatment as a bunch of the other cards above, so if you're using Overgrowth, that'll work a little bit better for you. Kinessa's Teleporter, just like Eevee, it'll feel more responsive on a high ping environment. They're both teleports. They kind of do the same thing from a code perspective, so they're going to receive that same treatment just to make it feel a little bit better. I'm down. Moving on to Makoa.
Sure.
Here's a buff.
Oh yeah, there we got here. Cannon, increased minimum damage at maximum fall off from 30% to 40%.
All right. What does that mean? Who wrote that? What does that mean?
I don't know who wrote that one, but I mean, if I had to get in
Thomas
here
is saying he wrote it.
and
Yeah, well, it was needed after my DreamHack performance,
There you
so
go.
he
Th-
needed
this
a little
was
something.
just for you.
All right. Anyway.
And
So, what's going to happen with this? Like, where am I getting the more damage?
It's going to be basically, those faraway targets, right? As you're getting that drop off there.
Yeah.
That you're picking up a few percent.
So when you hit the arc shot and you feel really good about yourself,
Yes.
it's going to actually do a little bit more. I'm
Yeah.
cool with it.
It's not an easy shot to hit,
It's not. Ancient Rage melee swings during Ancient Rage now act as a weapon attack.
Does that mean it applies what I think it does?
Cauterize and Wrecker. Boom. Done. Got him. Ebb and Flow, receiving the same card treatment. Won't go on cooldown when Shell Spin is already available. Lex, requip and restock.
Yeah.
They're getting the ammo version, right? If you're full ammo, you have those cards, you activate them, you're not going to waste those cards. They're only going to activate when you're actually missing some ammo. Some basic bug fixes for Leon, so you'll be able to see her legendary card art in a match all the time now. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
And fixed the camera reload issue with deft hands. But Shaolin, here's the guy. I was happy when I heard about this. So tell me a little bit.
Sure. So the Impaler Arrow fixed an issue that caused the knockback and stun of this ability to work inconsistently. Now, me being a community, I get all the videos, I get all the messages like, what's going on here? Where you get these shots that look like
Yeah,
they should
why
hit.
haven't you fixed it before?
Exactly. It's
Hurry up,
just,
man.
Sheesh, got to get on that.
Well, we
But
did.
You did, yes. And I think it was inclines, right, that was really causing the issue?
Yeah, so there were a few things. One, if you're on a hill, you'll now actually get knocked back a little bit as opposed to hitting the hill and stopping.
Sure.
So it'll work better in those circumstances. And then two, you can't. I've got some paper on my desk. Y'all can't see it, right? So you've got a piece of paper here. I'm standing on the ground. If I get knocked back into the piece of paper that is a millimeter off the ground, it's
No.
not going to stun me anymore.
Sure.
You have to actually kind of hit a wall. So it should just be more consistent. If you're knocked back into a wall, you'll get stunned, and you should see that knockback and that stun working every time. If it's not, tweet at him.
And I'll bring it to them.
I don't know what you're talking about. Moving on to Sky. Wrist crossbow.
Sure.
So there's a bunch here.
there's
I
a
want
lot.
to go through them first, and then we'll explain it. Reduced maximum inaccuracy from 90% to 94%. So she's getting more accurate. increased minimum damage at maximum fall off from 15% to 30%. So that means that you're going to deal more damage further away. Reduced range at which the maximum fall off occurs from 120 feet to 100 feet. That's going to squish the whole thing. And reduced damage from 150 to 140.
Sure.
What happens when we put all this together? What is actually happening to Skye?
I mean, I think we're going to basically see it so that, she's doing a little bit less damage to targets that are at a distance. Right? That's what I'm seeing.
So what's going to
here.
happen is it's a little bit less damage up close. You're going to have a more consistent and more versatile weapon.
Yes.
So right now the Skye experience, right, is you walk up to someone, get right here, you stick your right hand on their forehead, and you just go,
pull the
bah,
trigger.
and
Yeah.
they die. Now I can shoot Juju from across the room.
Okay, so no, I see what you're saying. We're picking up the accuracy on this.
That's
Yeah,
right.
all
More
right.
accuracy, a little bit more generous with the fall off, a little bit less damage to compensate. So hopefully she's not going to murder you point blank, but the Skye player themselves is going to have a little bit more options and just generally be a little bit more reasonable.
Cool.
Emergency exit card is going to get the same treatment, won't go on cooldown if you're already stealthed. Victor getting some love.
This is an interesting one.
So assault rifle ammo count increased from 25 to 30. Frag grenade self-damage reduced from 250 to 100. And frag grenade effect radius increased from 25 to 30.
Now, see, that always, for me playing Victor, it always felt like the self-damage from that grenade was a bit higher than a lot of the other characters who are capable of self-damage. So that
It
kind of...
was like double.
Right? Yeah. I mean,
Can't blow yourself up anymore.
I was about to say, he's one of
As
the few
much.
champions I've managed to do that with.
Few.
Yep.
All right,
There's been
sticking
a few
to it.
pip incidences.
Sticking to your
you know,
words.
yeah.
He's going to get some more ammo, so just a little bit of a better shooting experience. And then the effect radius on the grenades could be a little bit bigger. It's going to help you really hit those targets when you're throwing it into a group. So hopefully Victor is going to just feel a little bit better in terms of his offensive options.
Sure. Right on, man. And we got something with Zin coming in here too, huh?
Yeah, so just making sure that if you've got a damage over time effect on you, combustible from Drogos, for example, you're not going to be able to counter the fact that you're on fire,
Yep.
which
Probably.
he can counter a lot. He can counter Ceres's void orb. Can't counter yourself being on fire. That doesn't
Yeah.
make sense then. So won't be able to do that anymore.
I mean, he's got a fire sword. Like, dude, that
well,
really
that's
doesn't make
argument
sense.
for him to be resistant to fire. I'll have to talk to Garrett about that one. Garrett, can we make Zin fire resistant?
No, we cannot.
We tried.
We tried.
All
All right, that's the balance for this patch, OB55. We've got some love for you coming
We do.
soon, though.
Yes.
First thing I got down here, Code Green chest sale.
Yeah, anyone who's been into game recently might have noticed it's back, and you can pick it up for 75 crystals right now. It's going to be on sale through Sunday, and I think it's a pretty nifty deal because before you got little individual pieces, now you just get the whole shebang as far as the item sets. We get voice pack.
Yep.
We get the accessory.
The whole thing.
Yep. The guns are separate though.
Correct.
Right.
And they're all in there. All the content from Code Green has made a return here.
Yep. But not for long.
Yeah,
Yep.
and this was a great theme collection I think that we did with Victor back in the day is when we first kind of really exploring how to do mix and match sets and everything, and it's still one that I like to play with. Like I still mix and match, kind of make my own toy soldier kind of out of it, and it's a lot of fun.
What hat do you use?
I do alternate. Like
Yeah?
it's
Oh,
really
switch it up.
weird depending on how I think I'm going to play Victor in the round.
Got
It's
it.
kind of what because like it's like one's like more like
you got the hip
field
fire hat?
generalness. Yeah. So but most of the time
I see.
I rock the dome hat.
I go
so
for the beret, personally.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
I've got French family, so it's cool.
And I do believe this is the first time I think that console has access to it because I believe
Oh,
when,
man.
Oh,
when
yeah.
it came
Yeah.
out,
Xbox,
Yeah.
PS4.
Yes.
There you go.
Grab it fast.
Grab it fast.
Indeed.
And also this weekend.
It's a party up weekend, man. We getting
Nice.
the party started. Yeah.
Nice.
Yep. Through Sunday, you're gonna get 20% extra XP, champion XP, and gold just for partying up with some buddies. And if for those of you out there who more of a Victor lone wolf type person, by all means just send an invite to someone you're playing with. I'm sure they want the bonus too. They'll probably accept it as long as you guys got a little bit of chemistry.
Make some friends.
Yep.
Matchmaking love with Paladins. Last up here, if you want to see me this weekend, you're out of luck. If you want to see those two, DreamHack Atlanta, where I hear they're going to be giving a little bit of a talk.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. I believe we're giving
Yeah.
a panel on character creation.
We are. So we've got a player meetup, both for Paladins and Smite. I think that's around 1. Is that correct? Or
Tentatively, yes.
Tentatively?
Yeah,
Okay.
we're going to be there from like 9 in the morning till 2 tomorrow. Just hanging
Okay.
out at the booth.
So there's a player meetup. I've already seen I don't know how many of them exist and what's going on, but there are some mad amounts of stacks of codes that I've been seeing in the office from
Yeah.
a lot of
Make it
people. that are
rain.
going
Yo,
to
Garrett, you're going to flex your
Yeah.
codes?
Yep.
Yeah.
So if
Yeah,
you have
we'll
a
flex
chance
it.
and you're in Atlanta, DreamHack in Spain was amazing. Hopefully Atlanta
Really
can kind of
awesome.
live up to that same level of hype, even if we don't have the tournament.
Sure.
But we have a player meetup, and then we do have a panel in which we're going to be kind of going through our entire champion creation process, answering questions from the crowd, and just kind of walking through the steps we do and what's needed to create a new champion of the realm.
And I can already tell. I don't need to look at chat. People are spamming "Get Mave Skin now, right now." I guarantee it, which doesn't do anything.
Doesn't sound like our chat.
No.
No.
I mean, they wouldn't do that.
Our chat is smart.
Very
and
well
knows
balanced.
that spamming chat is not smart.
Sure. They know the only way to win those is to link your accounts on
Yeah.
the official website. And then I think we actually do have a stream going on this weekend. It's going to be tomorrow and probably starting around 2 o'clock. There's info on the blog post. It's going to be a Valence. And guess what? We're going to be dropping in the chat randomly.
Awesome.
Nice.
All
Awesome.
right.
A little
Very
bit of
nice.
Mave Skins, yeah.
Can't wait to check that out. I might talk to you about getting to go, but if not, I'll be there in chat, spamming along with the rest of you guys, because I know what's good. You got to spam to get those codes.
No, that is not. That is really not true.
It's not. No,
You
link your
claim
account.
I'm a troll.
I was born and raised in the troll. You don't even know.
I'm going to ban you from the chat when we get back.
He probably will.
He will.
So go ahead and link your account if you get those codes. Watch this weekend. Check it out. If you're in the area, come see those two on their panel. But that's the end of the patch show. We've got a lot of stuff for you. Whole bunch of skins.
PTS.
1 map, 4 maps. PTS soon.
Soon.
Soon? Okay.
They are right now hustling to try and get that up. Not up yet, but work in progress. It'll be up soon, guaranteed.
Tentatively today,
Awesome.
guys.
Yeah,
Awesome.
tentatively today.
All right, well, hop on those. Hop on the PTS when it gets up. Check out the skins. Check out the maps. Check out Jenos, the Ascended. But for everyone here at High Res Studios, I'm Kret signing off. Never give up, never stop gaming, and I'll see you in the realm.